All right, so our directions here are to find the greatest common factor, or another way you may see this written is the GCF. Okay, so if you see GCF, that also means greatest common factor, so it's important to keep in mind. So I'm going to kind of show you the long way first, and then we'll kind of look at maybe some shortcuts. So if we have x to the third, so the greatest common factor is what can I take out of both terms, okay? I know x to the third is x times x times x. I know x to the fifth is x multiplied by itself 5 times, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what can I cross out from both of these. Well, I can cross out an x here and an x here, an x here, an x here, an x here, an x here. Now I'm out of x's to cross out. So how many did I cross out in each term? Well, I crossed out 3 here and 3 here. So my greatest common factor is x to the third power, because I can pull that out of each one. So let's look at the next one that way. Let's see, we have x to the sixth and x squared. Let's see, we have x to the 6 equals x times x times x times x times x. That's 5 and 6. And then x squared is x times x. So again, I'm just going to cross out 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. I am out to cross out. I've crossed out 2 from each one, so my greatest common factor is x to the second power. So let's do this third one. X to the sixth is x times x times x times x times x times x, and x is just x. So I can just cross out x and x. So my greatest common factor, I just crossed out 1, is just x. So now down here we have 2 variables, but we're still going to go with the same process, all right? So let's write it out. X to the third times y to the fifth, and this may get a little messy because these will be long. I'm going to try to make them kind of small. X times x times x times y. One more y, I believe. Yes. And then x to the second times y to the 7th power. I'm going to do this below here. So that's x 2 times and y 7 times. 5, 6, 7 times, and we're multiplying all those. Now I just go out. Let's start with our x's. So I can cross out 1, 1, 2, 2. So, and I'm done. So my greatest common factor here is x to the second power. That's for the x part of my term. And so for the second one, let's see, for my y's, I can do 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, and I'm out. So that is y to the 5th power. All right, last example here. X to the 6th times y. It's going to be x 6 times. That's a y, and then we'll x to the third, y to the 4th. All right, now we just cross out 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and I'm out of x's, so it's x to the third. I write it over here. And then for my y's, 1, 1 times y. So that's how you find the greatest common factor. Now that looks like a lot of work. But if you look through these problems, you may notice something. You may be able to see kind of a little something going on. This is how you may be able to easily find the greatest common factor without writing everything out. Notice my smallest power here was x to the third, and my greatest common factor was x to the third. X to the second, x to the second, x, x. Here, my lowest x power was x to the second. And my lowest y power was y to the 5th. Y, x to the third, x to the third. So that's something else to keep in mind. And we're going to look at